Thanks for joining us online here at Flatirons. We're in our current series, Operator's Manual. If you have any questions, feel free to visit our website at flatironschurch.com or any of our social media accounts. Thank you.
Good morning, Flatirons. Great to see you. Let's stand up together. Sing this out. I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive, and all my failures I tried to hide. It was my team till I met you. Come on, let's hear you sing it out this morning. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you, 'cause you called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, the chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, come on, let's use it. When you called me a citizen of heaven, when I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. When we sing, how great the chasm that lay between us, how high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross is broken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Jesus Christ, my living. Come on, every voice we sing. And hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me, and you have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe, and out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Hey, we're gonna sing that out together again. Come on, we sing, this is our hope. Then came the morning, come on, that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe, and out of the silence, the roaring lion declares the grave has no claim on me. Jesus, yours is the victory. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me, and you have broken every chain. And there's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Oh, hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me, but you have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus Christ, my living hope. All right, that's some great singing this morning. Before you take your seat, why don't you turn, shake someone's hand, give them a high five or a hug, and then you can have your seat.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. Everybody good? All right. Okay, you sound good today. You don't always sound good. Most of you sound good. It's good. Hey, this is a man series we're in, and I'm like fired up because I did something manly last night. I went hunting And by that I mean my wife texted me during church last night and said, there's a mouse. And I went home and I owned that mouse. It's just gone now. And, but hey, you like my shirt? This is a new shirt. Yeah, it's best state ever. But, so these are online, available starting tomorrow. But right now I have the only one in the world. It makes me special. And but anyway, hey, let's jump right into this, okay? I want to jump into this teaching because pretty much from now to the end of this series, it's all going to be like heavy application. And here's what I mean by that. Over the last month, as we've been kind of unpacking all this, we've looked at the problem with men, right? It's taken a month to even touch it. But here's what we've discovered is that intentionally or unintentionally, somewhere along the line, men, we let go of something. We let go of what God said is true about what a man is and what we were created to be and why we were created to do what we were created to do. And so if I kind of sum up the last month like in one sentence, and if some of this doesn't make sense, you can just go online and catch up with this, but here's kind of where we've landed, is that a man is an image bearer of God. A man is created to co-rule with God, not on our own, but with God. How do we do that? By working and keeping, providing and protecting everything and everyone entrusted to us, all right, with the glad assumption. This is what Ben taught us so well last week, with the glad assumption of sacrificial responsibility. So like that's the definition, that's the goal, that's the vision we have for our lives. And then last week Ben taught, and I think it's the best Ben's taught. I think he's knocked it out last week, but Ben took us through like the two main like distortions, or we're trying to image God, the misimages of biblical masculinity. And he threw out two words and taught us this, is that some of us are, we kind of lead by tyranny. You know, this is what we do sometimes, man. We rule from position. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. Do what I said, right? Or insecurity or selfishness. Some of us, we're really bad kings. We're tyrants. But then that kind of the pendulum swing over. The other side of that is a lot of us are really passive. We're failing to provide and protect by avoiding taking responsibility. And the lines we either say out loud or that go through our head a lot are lines like this. Hey, that's not my problem, right? That's not my fault. That's her fault, right? That's not my responsibility. And in both tyrannical and passive masculinity, the ones who suffer the most are not men. They're all those whom God has entrusted to us and are counting on us to truly be the good man God created us to be good kings, to be good husbands and fathers and sons and brothers, to be the friends the world's waiting on. They're waiting on us. So here's what we're going to do for the rest of this series, and it was going to wrap up next week, and then I thought of some more stuff, so we're going 3, because I'm digging this. Anyway, but for the rest of the series, we're going to go really heavy into practical strategy, right? We've talked about who we are and what we're created to be, so what does that look like lived out in real life? Where do we start? What do I need to start doing or do more of or stop doing or cut back on, whatever that is, so that everybody in my kingdom, and whenever I say kingdom, I'm just talking about those who God has entrusted me, my sphere of influence, my scope of responsibility. What do I need to do so they look back at me and say something to the effect of, oh, thank God, there's still a good man left. And that's the goal, isn't it? Oh, thank God, there's still some good men. There's still some good husbands left. There's still some guys worth dating, right? There's still some good dads, and I have a good dad. And so the first job description from this operator's manual, this Bible, right, that I want to look at a story that Jesus told. And this is how Jesus taught a lot, because he would take something maybe that everybody was familiar with. There's a lot of sheep stories in there. There's a lot of fishing stories and farming stories, because that's what everybody did. So when he talked about that, they immediately knew. So I want to take something that Jesus used as a metaphor, and then he would compare it to something that was less familiar, usually something spiritual. And what we're going to look at today is, he said, it's kind of like a house. It's like a house, and if this house is in good order, it's going to be fine. But if a house that is divided, it can't stand. That's that famous thing that Abraham Lincoln quoted when he's looking at our country. It's divided, and it's going to fall apart. He's quoting Jesus. So it's just like a house divided, a house that's pulled this way and that way, it's gonna fall apart. So here's what I wanna do. I wanna take that metaphor that Jesus uses of a house, and I wanna look at that same metaphor, and I wanna apply it to our roles as men. Now again, everything I'm gonna say applies to pretty much everybody listening to my voice right now, but I'm gonna zero in and target men, and ladies, you'll be glad going, you're talking to him, not me. All right, so that's fine, all right? So it's found in three of the 4 Gospels. The Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are the biographies of Jesus. There's 3 versions of this in there, so it's pretty important. okay? So we're in Luke, and there's free Bibles in the back of every auditorium, but just get one later and just follow along, all right? So this is Jesus talking. He's just talking about a house divided can't stand. Now he says, when a strong man, and that's what we're going for, when a strong man fully armed, what's that mean? It means fully prepared to do what needs to be done. I'm ready to go. When a strong man fully armed guards his own palace, guards his kingdom, guards his garden, whatever that is, his goods are safe. And in this case, a man's goods are everything God's given to him, everything within his kingdom, everything in his scope of responsibility. Jesus says they're safe when the man guarding them, right, is strong and fully armed and prepared for anything that might attack him or his house. Everybody following me? It's a metaphor we're gonna get to, all right? Keep going. But when one's stronger than he, so you're guarding your house and you think you're fully armed, but then here comes somebody stronger than you, all right? But when one's stronger than he attacks him and overcomes him, he takes away his armor in which he trusted and divides his spoil. Now, I want to break this down, okay? It says that when somebody's stronger than the one who's been charged with guarding this house, guarding this kingdom, comes in and they're better armed, they're better prepared. When they come in and attack that weaker, unprepared man, it says that he takes from that man everything, and it says he divides the spoil. And divide the spoil there literally means this. He takes what is yours, and he takes it, and he uses it and spends it however he wants. And the it we're talking about is like, I don't know, your marriage. The most important piece. I'm gonna take your daughter, and I'm gonna use her any way I want, because you weren't paying attention. Now, here's the other part of this, all right? In the other two versions of this, in Matthew and Mark, Jesus says that the owner of the house, the man that's charged with protecting everybody there, it says that the other person comes in and binds him up. But binds him up. It literally translates, the owner of the house gets tied up, imprisoned, and bound. Now, here's the reality, right? This is so deep. You cannot do what you need to do if you're all tied up. Right, write that down. That's what wisdom, right? You cannot fight, you cannot defend, you cannot do anything if you're all tied up. And that means something more, because this is a metaphor, right? Then Jesus cuts through the chase and says, I'm just gonna throw all the excuses out of the window. Whoever's not with me is against me. Whoever does not gather with me scatters. In other words, Jesus says, this is just true. This is black and white. This is true, and everything else that might be different than that is not true. In other words, you're either gonna believe what Jesus says or you're not. He says you're either working with me or you're actually working against me. But here's the truth, and this is reality, all right? Men, listen, if you want your kingdom, if you want your house, I'm not talking about brick and mortar, if you want your life, if you want your marriage, if you want your wife, if you want your girlfriend, if you want your family, if you want your children, if you, just pick them out. If you want the most important people in your life, I want them to be safe. Ready? You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong and fully armed, ready to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, with a joyful acceptance of sacrificial responsibility. In other words, men, it's time that we start running towards the fight as opposed to away from it. Or the way I like to say it right here, si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war.
Hey, Flatirons, I want to introduce you to my friend Nathan. You're a police officer back in Louisville.
I joined the Army National Guard as an infantry paratrooper, got hired onto the police department, was the class president.
So what made you attracted to the military, and then now you're law enforcement, now you're SWAT? I mean,
Yeah.
You're in deep.
I remember watching things like when Columbine happened, sitting there thinking, I wish I was there, and I wish I could be doing something. What the military and law enforcement teaches you to do, we say it jokingly, always look cool. Really what that means is always look like you have things under control. Look like you know what you're doing, stay calm.
All right, so you have this keep up a front, stuff your emotions. How's that work in marriage?
Not well at all.
Talk about that a little bit.
I was a passive husband because I would not stand my ground for anything. If I thought I was gonna get too much kickback to where my wife at the time was gonna leave me, then I would buckle. Okay, whatever needs to be changed, we'll change it to get, I just want things to be happy.
So it's very different. So in your job, you're like stand your ground.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
At home,
Yeah.
passive. When you and I met, you were right in the middle of a divorce. You had you had a 2 or 3 year old and one on the way.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna lose my house. I really didn't know what was gonna happen with the kids. I don't feel like I have anybody, and I don't remember the last time I did. I just wanted this joy that apparently every other Christian had but me. So fast forward, I'm with a police chaplain, Bill Weedman. So he takes me out to dinner and we're unpacking life, and he's asking me these really intrusive questions like, what do you want to be in life? And I was like, well, I don't know, I guess a good man. Well, why don't you think you're a good man? And we're in the middle of Texas Roadhouse. I'm like, man, shut up. Can we leave?
I'm SWAT, I don't cry.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta be cool.
I'm like, something's in my eye. I said, yeah, you know, I want to go to this thing called the Crucible I heard about. He said, well, how do you know about the Crucible? I said, oh, I listen to this church out in Colorado, Flatirons, a guy named Jim Bergen. He's like, man, I'm really good friends with Jim. And I said,
I know what he's
bull.
Yeah, you bully.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's Flatirons, it's all right.
so he texts you, I think right there.
Yeah.
And, but I think I landed on a
Reverse engineering.
reverse engineering.
That's where this came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that, and there was truth in there that I could say, okay, that is a part of my life I need to fix, but I didn't feel beat up afterwards. For the first time in my life, nothing was getting better, but I said, I'm gonna refuse to let go of God.
So Luke's 3, almost 4?
Almost 4, he'll be
All
4 in
right.
about a month and a half. One thing me and him do is once I get him out of Sunday school or Saturday night school, we go down and we pick up the communion cups and any programs or trash left behind. And it's just my way of teaching him, you're not above picking up people's trash. In fact, you're taking care of your house, you're taking care of your kingdom.
So you're modeling leadership. You're trying to teach them this is what God looks like, this is who God is to you. So if I had Luke here, and he had the words and the language to do it, and I said, Luke, tell me about your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
What words do you hope that he would use to describe my dad is?
My dad's a patient, kind, loving, strong man, and he'll do anything for me.
It sounds like who?
Sounds like God.
Tell me about your dad.
Spartan Warrior guy. I liked 300, the first one anyway.
Oh.
And I have 2 blue ribbons for my boys, and because those are what I'm responsible for. Those, at least, are in my kingdom. I don't care if they want to be or not. They're in my kingdom. That's just a reminder, not just to myself, but it's also to let everybody else know. Like, if you want to come and take what's in my kingdom, maybe you're stronger than me, maybe you're better than me, but you're not going out the same way you came in.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not afraid to take a stand.
It's been a ride.
Everybody,
Guess I had to go to that place to get to this one. Now some of you might still be in that place, just trying to get out. Just follow me. I'll get you there.
When this began, I had nothing to say, and I get lost in the nothingness inside of me. I was confused, and I let it all out to find that I'm not the only person with these things in mind. Inside of me, but all the vacancy the words revealed is the only real thing that I've got left to feel. Nothing to lose, just stuck, hollow and alone, and the fault is my own, and the fault is my own. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. Walk this road together through the storm.
for you, so I could come back a brand new me. You helped see me through, and don't even realize what you did. Believe me, you. I've been through the ringer, but they get too little to the middle finger. I think I got a tear in my eye. I feel like the king of my world. Haters can make like bees with no stingers and drop dead. No more beef flingers, no more drama from now on. I promise to focus solely on handling my responsibilities as a father. So I solemnly swear to always treat this room like my daughters and raise it. You couldn't lift a single shingle on it, cause the way I feel, I'm strong enough to go to the club or the corner pub and lift a whole liquor counter up, cause I'm raising the bar. I'd shoot for the moon, but I'm too busy gazing at stars. I feel amazing and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to take a stand. To take a stand. Everybody, everybody, come take my hand. Come take my hand. We walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Just letting you know that you're not alone. Holla if you feel like you've been down the same road.
Oh. They asked me to sing that, and I said, no, let the kids do it. It's, yeah. Hey, so men, that's what we're gonna do. For the next 3 weeks, we're just gonna go to war. We're gonna prepare to go to war. What are we fighting for? Peace. The Hebrew word for peace is shalom. Shalom translates this way, as God meant it to be. That doesn't happen on accident. We're gonna have to fight to make it happen. So the rest of the series, we're gonna jump over to another part of the Bible. It's the book of Ephesians. And again, there's free Bibles back there. Grab one on your way out. But it's a letter that a teacher named Paul wrote to some people who live in a part of the world called Ephesus. And he writes them a letter because they're trying to figure out, what does life look like as a man, as a husband, as a father? What's parenting look like? What's business look like? All the really big important parts of life. What does that look like now for me, now that I'm trying to follow Jesus? I know what it was like before. Now I'm trying to keep my eyes on Jesus. What does it look like to be a good man? And so we're gonna pick up in this part where Paul has just finished several chapters kind of describing or painting a picture of what it looks like to be a good man, to be a God image-bearing man, husband, father, friend, all right? And it's like, this is the story I make up in my head. I think he reads through what he's written and maybe reads it to some people around him before he sends the letter off, and the look on everybody's face is like, that's gonna be impossible. That sounds really hard. And just so you know, man, everything we're gonna talk about for the next 3 weeks, all right, it's gonna be really, really hard. And so I don't know if this is true. Maybe he writes this part to go, okay, are you ready to do this? Because it's really important. And here's what he writes. He says, finally, after all that, finally be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. Now, look at that, because it should sound pretty familiar, because there's some really important words in there that Jesus just used in that metaphor about a strong man guarding his house, right? Remember this? Like this. He says, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might, in the strength of his power. So just like Jesus taught with that whole house, if it's gonna stand up, Paul says that if what needs to be done is gonna be done when it needs to get done, it's gonna take a strong man to do it. But this time Paul recognizes that the strength that he's not referring to like firepower, or he's not talking about your ability to bench press your car. That's not it. He's saying there's a strength, there's a power, there's a might that is available to you to tap into, and it's accessible, but it's from the Lord. Jesus is making you a promise. I'll give you the power to do this almost impossible thing that I'm telling you to do. And again, Paul keeps going. He says, put on the whole armor of God. It's just what Jesus has said. When a strong man, fully what? Armed, fully prepared. I'm ready to go. I am prepared. I'm equipped and ready to go into action against anything that might come against me or what God has entrusted to me. I'm gonna defeat it. And at the end of the battle, I'm gonna be standing after the fight. And in this case, what's coming after you? What is coming after all those that God has entrusted to you? He says you're gonna take a fight against the schemes of the devil. And you look at that and you go, what's the scheme of the devil? Well, you mean Satan's against all of us? Probably, he wants us all to burn in hell. Maybe that's what it means. But here, it's very, very specific, all right? Schemes means a very specific scheme or a very specific plan of attack against not all the men of the world, against you. Specifically you and your marriage and what God has entrusted to you. In other words, if you've been in the military, this can make sense. You've been reconned. You've been scouted. Somebody's been watching you, right? Trying to figure out, where are you strong? We don't want to attack him there, but where are you weak? Where's that place in your life that every time something hits that, you screw up and everything falls apart? And Satan's saying, I have a very specific plan formed against you. You. I don't know about the guy down the road from you. You. And I have a plan for your marriage, and I have a plan for your son. I have a plan for your daughter. I have a plan for your mind. I have a plan for your joy. I have everything. Everything that God has said, you take care of that for me. He says, I'm coming after the most important parts. Now, let's be honest. That sounds kind of weird. That sounds spooky and sci-fi, something like that, right? Or at least churchy. But, okay, even if you don't believe it, haven't you felt that before? Haven't you ever felt like the whole universe is like it just keeps messing up that part of your life? It's like you have that one part of your life, and it's like, it just like circumstances or whatever keep hitting it over and over and over, and you finally go like, okay, that's enough, but that's not enough. It keeps coming over and over and over, and it feels like it's just coming after your body. It's just coming after your flesh, your health, your what you think about or something like that. But let me just tell you, this is what Paul's going to teach us. Whatever you're being attacked in your life, man, it's just the playing field. There's more at stake. There's something really, really deeper that's going on than just what's attacking your body. Paul says this. He says, hey, let's just be clear. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. This is not our problem, right? We're going to get more specific about that in a minute. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We don't wrestle. We're actually wrestling against the rulers. We're wrestling against the authorities. We're wrestling against the cosmic powers of this present darkness, right? We're wrestling against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places, and heaven is not someplace else. He says, listen, Satan's coming after you all around you, the space around your head. He's coming to your house. He's not just doing the world. He's watching you, and he's coming after you. And listen, the war, this metaphor, this war against your sexual thoughts that get dark sometimes, and we all know what I'm talking about. And the things that tempt us, sexually, right? It's not just a sexual temptation. It's not just a physical thing. It's not just hormonal. It's not just guys are guys. It's not that. It's spiritual. And here's what I mean by that. Because there are certain parts of our life, if we fail there, the collateral damage takes out so much more than us. I mean, it'd be bad enough it just took us out. But it doesn't, all right? It takes out me, and then it takes out my marriage, and it wipes out our children. And some of us lose our faith because we screwed up that part of our life. So I'll use myself as an example, okay? And there's no shortage of stories of pastors that have screwed up, all right? Don't comment on that, all right? Or leaders, all right? But here's what I'd like to say. I'm just gonna talk about me. I don't know about them. I would love to say that the reason I've never had an affair or I've never made this huge sexual mistake in my life, I would love to stand up here and go, it's just because I love Jesus so much. I love Jesus every day. Every day is I would love to say that Jesus alone is what keeps me on the straight and narrow. And let me say this, most of the time, Jesus is enough, right? Most of the time. But there's sometimes when, I even with Jesus, I start going off the rails, okay? So here's the thing that keeps me kind of on track. I have this thought that goes through my head a lot. It goes like this. So what happens if I screw this up? What happens if I make this mistake on a really bad day and I mess up sexually? What could happen? And here's the first thing, all right? Well, first of all, I could really hurt and damage or maybe even lose my marriage to Robin. And that's huge. That should be enough. But it doesn't stop there. This is what we don't stop to think about, man, right? It doesn't stop there. The ripples go out, and you don't get to control how far those ripples go, do you? Right? So I rip away my family's stability. I rip the foundation out of them. All right? And I take away their financial security. Right? I never thought of that when I did what I did. All right, and here's where the ripples go. It's my wife, it's my kids, and I got grandkids. Will I ever be able to see them again? I never thought about that. I've got almost 200 people on staff that look to me and go, you're a leader. We have hitched our wagons to you. We've staked all of our families, kind of life on following you. And if I mess up, they lose all that. I got some friends. Here's the other thing I was thinking about, talking to Robin about the other day. I have thousands and thousands of men across the world who listen to me and count on me and trust me, all right? And if I screw up sexually, here's what they're all gonna go. See, it doesn't work. Jesus doesn't work. It didn't work for him. It didn't work for Pastor Jim. I know it's not going to work for me. And they're going to turn their backs on, not Pastor Jim, who cares, all right? They're going to turn their backs on faith. They're going to give up on God, right? And let's be honest, doesn't that explain why a lot of our faith took a hit? We really put some confidence in somebody and they let us down. And we just walked away from Jesus, right? I mean, wouldn't you say, well, this is my story. I would say that the number one thing of junk in my head that I wrestle with as an adult is some stuff in my past. Someone that we trusted, someone we counted on, someone who's supposed to be there for us and take care of us, failed. It messes us up 40 years later, right? Anybody relate to that? It's why we say stuff like this: I'm never getting married. You know why? Because if that's what marriage looks like, I'm done. I'm never getting married again. I'm never having kids. I'm not going to do to any kid what whoever did to me. I'm out. See, something happened. Something happened, and it felt like it was just emotional. It felt like it was just physical. It felt like it was just a relationship or something like that, but it changed us forever. Well, what happened? It's a spiritual battle being played out in our physical world. See, here's what I think, and you might think I'm wrong, but I'm not. This is how I think Satan targets me specifically. And I think that this is going to count for a lot of you. You're going to understand this. I think he looks at me and goes, if I can take him out, if I can take that man out, if I can take that husband out, if I can take that dad out, if I can mess up that boyfriend, here's the thing, all right? Then I have a chance of taking out everybody connected to him, which is why Paul says, hey, man, you better be strong. But so the strong that you can't muster up at the firing range or at the gym, and you don't have enough money to buy this. You can't buy it. You got to find it somewhere else. Well, where am I going to find strength like that? You got to be strong in the Lord. That's Jesus. You got to be strong in the Lord and in his power. It's available. We just got to tap into him. Now, here's what's probably going on in a lot of us men, right? We're going, I would like that. I would like to be strong. Yes. How do I have that? How do I tap into that? How do I become strong? How am I going to be prepared for this battle? Well, let's keep going, all right? He says, therefore, if all that's true, all right, then what are we going to do? Therefore, take up, remember that, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, it's the attack's coming, and having done all, to stand firm. So here's what he's saying. If you're going to be strong and fully armed, you're going to have to take up. So he says, you got to take up the whole armor of God and wear it, and nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to put it on for you, this whole armor of God. Earlier, Paul says this, put on the whole armor of God and wear it. But again, no one's going to do it for you, and so you got to take it up. How's that translate? Men, we're over here, and whatever he's talking about is over there, and it's not going to do it for us. It's not going to jump on us. We have to leave where we are. We have to actively do something to reach out and take hold of it and put it on. It's over there. I have to do something. Why? So that not if, but when evil attacks your life, your house, I'm not talking about brick and mortar, your thoughts, we know what I'm talking about, right? They just start spiraling. When evil attacks your son's value, you don't even want to be alive anymore, right? Right? When evil attacks your daughter and says she's not worth anything, you're going to fight. And when the smoke clears, you and everybody connected to you within your scope of responsibility, you're standing up. You're going to be okay. So next, Paul goes into, let's talk about the armor that you have to reach out and then take up and put on so that you don't get slaughtered. This is what we're going to spend the rest of the month on, all right? He says, stand therefore, and that's like fighting stance, like get ready, here we go. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of what? Truth, okay? So for the rest of this is where you get your cameras out and there's some cool stuff coming, all right? And so we're gonna take pictures of notes in here, okay? So the first piece of armor that you're gonna need to prepare for the coming fight, the war that is on its way, is you gotta know truth. And I think it's really important that Paul, the metaphor he uses here is a belt of truth. It literally translates, this is Bible study, this is what you teach me or pay me to do, all right? Belt of truth literally means this, that with your loins girt about with truth. That sounds weird, all right? My loins are girded with truth, all right? More specifically, all right, it's gonna get, this is why it's middle school and above, all right? So it literally translates, here's your loins. In case you don't know, all right? Your loins, in Bible times, your lower back, all right? And that's what, like, your core keeps you standing up straight. It involves your hips and then the rest, all right? So let's be honest, time out. Ladies, don't listen. Dudes, listen to me, all right? We should be able to stop right there, because wouldn't life be so much better if we could just get that figured out? If we could get our lower back and our hips and everything else, if we could just go, it's all right, it's all girded up with truth. Right? You're on a date and she's like, hey, baby. I'm like, I'm sorry, doesn't work unless it's pointed at truth, right? I mean, it'd be like, that's, I'm telling you, life would get better. So much better. And you know what? You're gonna forget everything else I said. You're just gonna go, I'm all girded up. And happy Valentine's Day for that one, all right? But the traditional translation is belt, so we're gonna go with belt. It's kind of boring, but a belt is what you put around you, and then everything else that's about to come hangs off of it. Right? And if you don't have the belt wrapped around your core, if it's not there, then everything either falls off or falls apart, right? So the goal here is at my core, everything that comes next has to be hanging on what God says is true. So let's just make sure we're all on the same page. When I say truth, or when Paul says truth, here's what we're talking about, all right? God's truth, picture time, God's truth is what God says is true. It doesn't matter what Jim thinks is true, or what Flatirons tries to tell you is true. It's God, okay? God's truth is what God says is true, and how God says every part of that life works. So the basic definition is God says that's what it is, that's why I made it, that's how it works the best, and everything else is a lie. You following me? This is why I did that, this is why I created it, this is what I want it to do, this is what it works best, and everything else, it's not true, which is our biggest problem. Somewhere along the line, we let go of what God says is truth, and we exchange the truth of God for a lie, which is why we have to strongly armor up against what is not true. And so our job as men is this: we have to identify what's really going on. This is what we're gonna look at practically. We have to look around and go, what's going on in my life, in my family, really, right? And then I gotta fight for truth and fight against and defeat the lie. And for that to happen, just do the math. The only way to recognize what's coming after you that's not true, the only thing that's coming after you that doesn't agree with what God says is right and true, is going to attack your family, is simply this: you must be able to know. Man, I'm talking to you, right? You must be able to know, recognize, and compare what's happening around you in your marriage, in your family, with your kids, and compare that to what's really true according to God. The way you recognize what's wrong is you compare it to what's right. So this is like the people in the Treasury Department. The way they identify counterfeit money is they don't get examples of all the counterfeit money, and there's just too much. So what do? They study the plates, the printing plates. They study the original, and they go, I memorized that so well that if that doesn't look like that, that's fake. It's a lie. So we gotta know what God's truth is. And we go back to his word, this operator's manual, and it is full cover to cover of God saying things like this: this is what it is, this is why I made it, this is how it works best, and everything else is a lie. And everything else is a lie will kill, steal, and destroy everyone in your kingdom. So how are we gonna do that? How will you be ready, armored up, and prepared to recognize what's true? That's true. And then recognize what's not true and threatening your family. What's your strategy? Here we go. So I'm gonna lay out 4 steps, four parts of a strategy. And it's not do 2 out of 4. It won't work. It's not, I do some of, no, it's all 4. Well, what makes you say that? Because this is my strategy. And I'm still standing. All right? So, picture time, all right? And if he didn't take a picture, ladies, you take a picture. Send it to him later. All right, so how am I gonna be ready? Here's my strategy. You read and study God's word to learn and recognize his definition of truth. And here's what most of the people just said: oh gosh, I can't read the Bible. I've tried. I get about 3 chapters in and it's just, right? So I don't understand the Bible. I know, it's really hard. Some of it's really, really confusing. So what am I gonna do? Step 2, be in church. Ta-da, all right, why? To hear how God's word and truth are applied to real life. That's what we're doing right now. We're taking stuff from 2,000 years and going, dude, it still works in real life. I'm not saying we're the only place. There's all these resources out there to go, I want to understand what God has in mind for me. And then listen, the more you get into this, here's the defenses are going to come and go, that sounds hard. I know. Here's step 3, all right? Ben taught this last week. You're going to gladly assume sacrificial responsibility. There's stuff in order to be the man that you created to be, it's going to be inconvenient and it's going to cost you something, but it's your job. It's your responsibility. Nobody's going to do it for you. All right, so that sounds really, really hard. I don't know if I can do that by myself. Where have you ever heard that being a strong man running after God, you're supposed to do that by yourself? Here's what's working for me. Surround yourself with men who are running after the same truth and will fight with you. It's the only thing that's kept me married. It's the only thing that's kept me doing what I do. It's the only thing that's kept me from spiraling out of control in parts of my life. So there they are. You got to know God's word, be in church and unpack it. You got to accept this responsibility, and then you got to surround yourself with some men who are running after the same thing. Okay, Jim, can you give me some examples of what that looks like in real life? Oh, yes. I can, all right? And this is where it gets tough. This is where I had people walk out on me last night. Are you excited? All right, so I'm not going to talk about the normal stuff that every church that does a men's talk talks about. You know what I mean? We're not going to talk about sex. We're not going to talk about pornography. We're not going to talk about addiction. We're not going to talk about bad habits, all right? We're not going to talk about all those typical things, although those 4 steps would work really, really well applied to those things I just listed. I want to talk about something that's going on right now in the real world, right? And where we live, okay? So more specifically. So I want to talk to everybody, but I want to talk to a specific group of men. If you're here and you listen to my voice in China or wherever you're listening to my voice right now, right? If you're in the category of you are currently married or you currently have children, or you're in the category of someday I think I'll be married and I'd like to have kids. Right? So you're either there now or you think someday I think I'll get married and have some kids and stuff like that. All right, so, all right. I want to talk to you. And even if you're 15, listen, now is the time to armor up, okay? Here's what I think, and you might disagree with me. You're wrong. This is just my personal opinion. I think the primary ways that we as men are being all tied up and bound, and we're losing more than we realize until we look around and go, it's gone, is that, man, I don't think we're paying attention. We're really distracted by the wrong things. Or we're somehow rationalizing something in our head, and we don't realize how serious the war is that is being waged against our children almost every waking moment of every day. And we as parents, we as dads have been entrusted by God and commanded by God to raise up our children in the truth of God and go to war against anything that's not true that tries to come into their life. So having said that, I have a question. I'm gonna give you 2 circumstances, and you answer in your own head which one would fire you up more, all right? The first one goes like this. Your kid, your son or daughter comes home from school, and they tell you they're not getting any playing time on their sports team. It's not fair, because they're better, but the coach has something against him or her, all right? And so they should be playing more, but they're not. And you get fired up about it? Or, how about this? Your kid comes home and tells you that there's a new Colorado law that now requires him or her to participate in a comprehensive sex education program that promotes and normalizes and celebrates sexual practices that are in direct opposition to what God says is right and true. Which one bothers you more? It's not hypothetical. It's being voted on right now. Which one would cause you to call your school or call your state representative? My kid's not getting enough playing time, or my kid is being taught that what the Bible teaches about gender, marriage, and sexuality is wrong, hateful, and harmful. Which one causes the most come up in you? And what's your plan? Everybody's going, number 2, that's right? Then what's your plan? And what response is coming up in you? What kind of lines are going through your head? That's not my problem. That's not my fault. It's the government's fault. That's not even my responsibility. How about this? I didn't know. Well, now you do. It's real. I don't have time to deal with that. I'm already tied up with some other stuff. And by the way, Pastor Jim, you're just clueless. That's just the way the world is right now. And what can a parent do? Listen, I get it. Listen, all right? But I'm gonna save myself some emails. Listen, if something's happening in your child's life, in their school, on the ball field, any place your child goes, all right? It's not political by saying that you as the parent should go and voice your concern and leverage your right as a parent to see things change and try to make things right. That's not political. That's parenting, right? See, we will never, think about this, we will never stand before Jesus and be able to say, yeah, I know, it's crazy, wasn't it? I know it's wrong, and personally, I didn't agree with it, but that's just the way it is. That's just what they're being taught in schools, and I'm not against teachers, because most teachers I know, they don't have a choice in some of this stuff, all right? But it's like, not just school, it's every movie that my kid listens to, every song that my daughter listens to, and it's just peer pressure, and Jesus, it's just the world we live in. Do we really think that Jesus is gonna look back at us and go, whoa, I had no idea. I had no idea, it's just jacked up in there. You're right. Doing nothing, that was probably the right choice. Do we think that? Of course not. So what are we going to do when our children who live in a world that seems to embrace everything except God's truth are being taught and pressured to exchange the truth of God for a lie? And the answer has to be something like this. You're gonna be strong, maybe for the first time, in the Lord, and you're gonna put on the full armor of God, and starting with truth, according to God, you're gonna go to war for your family. We're not fighting against people like that, people that believe like that, people who do stuff like that. That's flesh and blood. We're fighting on a deeper level for our family. Well, how am I gonna fight for my family? I just gave you 4 steps. Let's review them again. This is your second chance to take a picture. How about this? You're gonna read and study God's word to learn and recognize what he says is true. But Jim, the Bible's confusing. I don't even know where to start, you know? I know. So you're gonna come to church week after week after week. And I don't know when God changes your life, but it just kind of washes over you and you look back after a year and go, I'm just different. Right? I'm gonna be in church, I'm gonna hear God's word and how truths are applied to real life. Pick any area of life. I just threw out one, but pick any area like sexuality, gender, marriage, racism, finances, drugs, alcohol, all the things that our kids have to deal with every single day. We may not be able to control everything that our child is exposed to when they are away from us, but it is still our responsibility to know about all of those things and be able to speak into them of what God says is true about them and how he defines what is right and true. Why? So that you are ready and you are fully prepared and you're equipped to take your stand against the devil's scheme against your son or your daughter. In order to do that, you're gonna have to open up God's word. Nobody can do that for you. So you're ready to teach your child. You have to teach your child what God says is true. And go, I don't know how to do that. It's not complicated. It means you go out and you buy a Bible. You get one in the back. You go to a bookstore and you buy a children's Bible and you sit on the edge of the bed and you read them Bible stories. You teach your children what is true. You hear. You sit together in church. Some of you are doing that right now, and you're having to wake your kid up. Like, that's love. Bam. Right? You guys wake up. Right? You're gonna pick your kids up from kids ministry in a minute, and before lunch, you just unpacked. So what did you learn in your class today? Right? And then compare it to what they're dealing with in other parts of their life. It's a good place to start, right? So I believe we have the best, I really do. I've been on staff at several churches. I think we have the best kids ministry in the world. I do. Cheers to that, all right? I really do. But they have our kids ministry has 2 missions. One is to teach your children about Jesus and what he says is true about them. The other thing is, our children's ministry, we want to set up parents for a win, because let's be honest. All right, you hear I'm a spiritual leader in my home, and I go pick up my 3rd grader, and he or she tells me a story about Jesus. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, Dad, did you know that Jesus? What? No, all right? And then you just feel stupid. So we're on it. We're on it. So if you go to flatironschurch.com/kids, everything your kids are learning over there, it's right there. We're setting you up so well. You can sit on the edge of your kid's bed tonight, and you can have a cheat sheet right down here. Right? You'll look like Jesus. I mean, your dad, you're like God. I know, all right? And there's all here's what we talked about. Here's the story. Here's some history. Here's the questions to ask your kid. You ready for this? And the answers are there. You don't even have to answer them. It's like, I know the answer to that. And they're like, Dad, you're like my teacher. You are their teacher. Right? You are their teacher. I'm not. And that sounds really spooky, all right? I know. So how about this? You have to gladly assume it. Jump into it. Here we go. I'm gonna run towards the fight. I'm gonna gladly assume sacrificial responsibility. It's gonna cost me some stuff. It's gonna be inconvenient, but no one else is gonna do it for my kid. Hey, Dad, write this down. You're the leader. You're the leader. I'm not. You're the teacher. God never told schools to teach our kids about God. He told you to. Your dad, it is your primary duty and responsibility, and anything that ties you up or gets in the way of that has to be reprioritized and moved to the side. And that means the things that you plan to do take second place to the thing that needs to be done when it needs to be done. Ben nailed it so well. This is the first step last week. Just get off the couch. You want to give you an act of worship? Unload the stinking dishwasher. So that's worship? Some lady just clapped. Yeah, to her it is. It means you value her. You play with your kids, right? It also means you have to actively involve yourself in your child's life. I've been talking to a lot of teachers, and you know what the most poorly attended thing by dads is? Parent-teacher conference. So, well, yeah, but I work. Well, you sure find time to get off for golf. What priorities, right? It means you have to be at their ball games. You go to any ball field around here, and it's full of moms. Way to go, moms. Where's dad? Doing something else. Message received. Right? And there's times when you can't do it, but where you're prioritizing as much as you can. You're at their concerts, you're at their plays, you're having daily conversations about the day. Now, here we go. This is gonna just tick off every high school, middle school person in here, okay? Dad, mom, listen, all right? You should have unlimited access to their phones and all their social media. You should have all their passwords. You should talk to their friends' parents about what's going on. You should drop them off. And you should pick them up. And then you should check up on them several times. There's apps for this, all right? And check in, are they where they say they should be? Now that sounds like a hassle, that sounds inconvenient, and it sounds really intrusive in my kid's life. They might think I don't trust them. Right. Parents, listen, all right? This is deep, right? Don't trust your children. Love them, don't trust them. Why? Because they're children, and they live in a world that's trying to eat them alive with untruth. And the last thing you want to say to your kids is not, I guess I should have trusted you more. I'll say that all day long. You know what I don't want to say to my kid? I guess I should have paid attention. You don't recover from that one, right? I'm fired up, I'm losing my voice. All right, so how am I gonna do that? How about this? You gotta surround yourself with some really good men who are running after the same truth and will fight with you. I'm gonna pound this over and over and over and over and over and over because it's kept me alive. Men are just better when they have other men around them that are running after the same truth from God that they are. We just do better. Solomon wrote it like this: iron sharpens iron. Men get their strength from other men. Ladies, you can do some good stuff in our life. We need some men to speak truth into our life. Get in a stinking group. It'll keep you alive. It'll keep you married. It'll keep your kids safer. It'll help you do your work. That's why I started this podcast a month ago, all right? What do you think, all right? So meaning this is that I'm gonna say stuff on this podcast that I can't say up here. And if you've listened to it, I'm the only Christian podcast that has an explicit lyrics. You're welcome, all right? It's like, because we're gonna get into it. And the stuff I'm not gonna say up here in front of ladies and kids, I'm just not. And if you decide to click on that, then you can click off of it, all right? But we're gonna go into the real stuff of life because men can talk about stuff with men. Men, we talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, is that before you go home and have a conversation with your wife, I just need to say it out loud and realize how bad that actually sounds before I throw it at my family. It'll keep you married, I'm telling you. So last question, we'll wrap this up. If God really is God, and I'm gonna say he is, and God's the one in charge of defining what's true and what's a lie, man, what's your plan? What is your strategy to be strong? Well, I'm not really strong. Okay, what are you gonna do to get strong? And be fully armed? Well, I don't even know what that means. Well, what are you gonna do? What's your strategy to be fully armed? I don't really have a plan. Yes, you do. Your plan is to not. Your plan is to fail, right? Well, so here's what I'm gonna run after that, so that you are ready to go to war on their behalf. And what would be the reason that you say, I'm not gonna do that? I'm not gonna warrior up, I'm not gonna get strong, I'm not gonna get prepared. And if you were to stand in front of Jesus and tell him why you didn't do what he counted on and trusted you to do, is that what you wanna stick with? And maybe you wanna rethink it. So here's the whole application. Then I'm gonna pray and we're gonna sing a song and go eat meat or something, all right? Here's the application. I'm gonna go to war with the belt of God's truth. I'm gonna go to war with God's word, and I will protect my children. I will. I will protect my wife. I will protect my marriage. I will protect my mind. I will protect all those people that are counting on me. And I know it's gonna involve sacrifice, sign me up. I know it's gonna cost me something, I'll spend it. If it's intrusive and inconvenient, I'm gonna do it because, listen, Dad, when you fathered that child, let me tell you what you signed up for. I signed up to sacrificially take responsibility to protect that child. And that child's identity, heart, soul, mind, strength, all the way to their core are being attacked. They're under attack. So listen, right? Jesus tells a few of you to leave everything behind and go to another place in the world and do something great? Just a few of you. God tells a few of us to become pastors or teachers or public figures or missionaries, something like that. He tells a few of us to do that. God tells every man to pick up and put on the full armor of God, including the belt of truth, and go to war for those whom God has entrusted and given to us. And do what needs to be done, provide and protect, work and keep, sacrifice, do whatever needs to be done so that those in our kingdom can experience grace and joy that they were meant to do. How are we going to do that? If you want peace, you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to go to war in the strength of the one who sends you. Amen? All right, let's stand up. I'm gonna pray. I'm tired. God, you're so good. So I'm gonna pray a prayer with my words, but I think I'm gonna speak for some men. God, we wanna be your men. And that just sounds overwhelming and we don't even know what we're doing, but we know that we've lost too much and we're not living in the strength that we were supposed to live in. And so we're gonna tap into Jesus and his power and his strength, and we're gonna get strong with your strength. And we're gonna get fully armored because there are people that are counting on us. So God, if you'll have us, we're your men. And God, I just have a feeling that right now, or anybody that's listening to my voice right now, there are some kids and some women who are crossing their fingers and going, God, help him believe that's possible for him. I believe it's possible for my wife, for my husband. I believe it's possible for my dad. He doesn't believe it. So God, will you do something in this man that I love so much and tell him who he is and what is possible for him. It's why I married him. He forgot. But Jesus, you have not. And all things are still possible in this man that I love. And so God, if you'll have us and you say you promise you'll give us the strength and courage that we need, we will be your men and we will fight for that which you have entrusted to us. And we'll do it in the name of Jesus. It's in his name I pray, amen.
In your name, we have overcome. In your name, darkness has been overthrown. Every curse broken by your grace. For my God defeated the grave. Feel in my weakness.